find my doctoral program. That was the reason why I was in Florida at the time. His cohort was there. I came down the last day so that I was able to finalize everything with getting my cohort off the ground, which he was so instrumental.
I've seen her in person. I've met her. Okay. Not in my league.
I desire a man who can communicate to me. Tell me you ain't gotta be perfect, but I can't work with what I don't know. Tell me what I don't know. Love me, be gentle with me. The Bible says that he washes her with the word of the Lord.
Absolutely. Super happy for him and for the church. Like, New Birth really needs a first lady.
Yes.
That's important. And we need New Birth to be happy with Jamal because he has a lot of tuition to pay. All of my girls will be in college.
Right.
So
For years, Gizelle Bryant bit her tongue while the world speculated about her ex-husband, Jamal Bryant, and his new wife, Karri Turner Bryant. But now that silence has shattered, and what she's hinting at is nothing short of explosive. The moment Jamal and Karri stepped into the light as a couple, the side eyes were immediate, fueled by Jamal's long trail of cheating rumors and Karri's moves that had many questioning whether she truly understood the weight of being a first lady. People weren't just curious, they were suspicious, wondering how this marriage really began and whether it was built on something solid or something sneaky. And according to Gizelle, Karri didn't just magically appear after the dust settled, she allegedly entered the scene while Gizelle's marriage was still intact. If her version of events is to be believed, both Jamal and Karri played their roles in a storyline that left her blindsided and betrayed.
I can't tell you how happy I am, how happy my family is, how happy my children are, and I hope my church is happy for me.
So on November 15th, 2024, Jamal Bryant announced that he was a husband yet again, but this time,
before the relationship was ever made official, Karri Turner was already a familiar face at New Birth Missionary Baptist Church in Atlanta, Georgia, serving as a faith-based author, speaker, and minister under Jamal's leadership. But inside those church walls, whispers were louder than sermons because many believed their connection had been simmering in secret long before they confirmed anything publicly. It wasn't just rumor, it was what some described as an open secret. Then came the ice cream shop sighting in Florida, and baby, that's when everything erupted. The optics alone sent shockwaves through the congregation, and Karri was labeled everything but a child of God. For a moment, it seemed like the backlash might end their story before it even began, yet they quickly dismissed the speculation, insisting it was nothing more than a professional meetup. As Karri put it, when we got to the ice cream parlor, I was not there because I was kicking it with him. I was there because we were solid.
I think I've seen so much maturity in him. He has an overwhelming sense of humility and humbleness. I think that we communicate so much better now. I mean, our communication is on point.
However, just as quickly as hope resurfaced, it vanished. Not long after announcing their rekindled romance, Gizelle revealed it had fizzled out, attributing the breakup to the strain of COVID and the distance between Potomac and Atlanta. According to her, the logistics made sustaining the relationship impossible. But for critics, that explanation raised eyebrows. If two people who once shared a marriage and children couldn't weather temporary long distance, how solid was the foundation to begin with? Still, Gizelle stood firm in her reasoning and insisted they simply weren't meant to be, maintaining they would remain friends. Yet when Jamal and Karri announced their engagement, Gizelle's tone subtly shifted. The light jabs became a little sharper, though she mostly kept her thoughts measured until directly asked about Karri. Instead of brushing it off, she leaned in, revealing she had met Karri before and suggesting that Karri had stepped into waters far deeper than she could handle.
And so people were like, oh, they've been dating since 2017. I didn't know this man in 2017. I knew of him, but I didn't know him.
But that polished fairy tale is exactly what Gizelle reportedly struggles to swallow, because she claims Karri was present long before the ink dried on her own reconciliation attempts with Jamal. Gizelle and Jamal were married from 2002 to 2009 and share 3 daughters, a history layered with love, heartbreak, and repeated betrayal. After their divorce, Gizelle openly admitted she walked away because Jamal's infidelity was relentless. Despite being a pastor after, he allegedly paraded new women while still wearing a wedding ring. Rumors even swirled about a love child conceived during their marriage, with claims that the mother was paid to remain silent. The emotional toll was so severe that Gizelle reportedly checked into a mental institution after discovering he had fathered a child outside their union. Yet time softened the edges, and through co-parenting and proximity, they found themselves reconnecting. Gizelle publicly confirmed they were giving love another chance, moving cautiously but optimistically, choosing to forgive the past in hopes of building a wiser, stronger future. She believed they had grown, that experience had matured them, and that they would never travel that painful road again.
To find my doctoral program. That was the reason why I was in Florida at the time. His cohort was there. I came down the last day so that I was able to finalize everything with getting my cohort off the ground, which he was so instrumental.
Karri didn't let that commentary slide quietly. She responded with a pointed message saying, "Put me at the table where women support other women being a mean girl. Age is you, honey, and who has time for that when you can be living, loving, and aging gracefully?" Still, Gizelle refused to retract a single syllable, standing 10 toes down in her opinion. Meanwhile, the internet couldn't help but notice how strikingly similar Karri and Gizelle appear, sparking chatter that Jamal clearly has a type, or perhaps something more strategic is at play. They even share the same sorority, and some observers joke that Karri studied Gizelle's blueprint like a manual. And let's not forget the moment Monique walked into that reunion with a binder packed with receipts right after Gizelle had opened up about reconciling with Jamal.
I've seen her in person, I've met her. Okay. Not in my league.
Ironically, the very scandal that threatened to tear them apart seemed to pull them closer together. Behind closed doors, Jamal and Karri continued building something privately, claiming there were personal matters to resolve before stepping into the public eye as a couple. Once they finally married, they wasted no time attempting to rewrite the narrative, determined to silence every rumor that trailed behind them. Ask Karri how their love story began, and she'll describe it as divinely orchestrated, a fairy tale authored by God himself, insisting they met through her job at the church and kept their interactions brief and professional. She has emphasized how stepping into a megachurch environment was new territory for her, and she was intentional about protecting her integrity, determined not to give anyone reason to believe she advanced by compromising her morals.
She said, for me, it's not a good idea to travel to Atlanta if you're working on putting your family back together again. He says, what are you talking about? She says, what am I talking about? And she screenshots the actual article.
Are we really listening to this? This is the same person who tried to run and cry wolf to Bravo because somebody was spreading truth about her family.
What are you talking about?
Can we not?
It's not real. It's reality.
No, it's not.
Monique's revelations were anything but gentle. She alleged that despite promising Gizelle he was fully committed, Jamal continued stepping out. According to Monique, she didn't even have to dig for evidence because the woman involved slid directly into her messages, ready to expose everything. That woman claimed she and Jamal were still seeing each other, even as he attempted to rebuild with Gizelle, and she provided text messages to back it up. As those receipts were discussed, Gizelle sat composed, absorbing every word without flinch.
I mean, Jamal and I have been through a lot. You know, there's a lot that people say, and we're.
But when y'all were announcing that y'all got back together, he told his girlfriend at the time that it was just reality TV and it wasn't true.
Thanks.
How do you know that? How do you know?
Because the lady who he's been dating for years,
she's been waiting to drop these receipts for a while.
She's a pastor, and she reached out to me a long time ago. She sent a bunch of screenshots, pictures of him in her bed and everything else. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going there. I don't play dirty. But
sounds like
since
rumors.
Gizelle likes to play dirty,
like rumors, right?
I'll go ahead and return since I'm here right now. But he's definitely been talking to another woman, and it's clear conversations. And if you like to see him, I got him in my little receipt book right.
Gizelle later explained that none of it blindsided her because Jamal had already disclosed the existence of the other woman. In her eyes, the reunion wasn't an unveiling but a replay, and the woman referenced during that explosive moment was allegedly Karri Bryant. Whispers suggest Karri's presence stretched back further than many realized, overlapping with the period when Gizelle and Jamal were trying to mend their marriage. Within the church community, their connection was said to be widely known, and Karri reportedly kept a close watch on any woman at new birth she perceived as competition for Jamal's attention.
Afraid to let her go because she gonna blow the shit up the same way she blew the last pastor up in town. taxes.
Now, sources are claiming Jamal may not have been the first pastor Karri pursued, and once she secured him, she allegedly guarded that position fiercely, regardless of who stood in the way, even if it was Gizelle. That's why some online critics believe the resemblance between Karri and Gizelle isn't coincidence, but calculation, a strategy to maintain Jamal's interest. Social media certainly hasn't held back, with comments like, "I think she purposely tries to resemble Gizelle, and Gizelle is aging gracefully without all the makeup and the fillers." He found someone who looks physically as close to Gizelle as possible, same look, body size, and even the same sorority L. OL, flooding timelines. But now I want to hear from you. What's your take on this entire situation? Drop your thoughts below, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.